A perfect Christmas. It was 2 days before Christmas. Barbie and her 3 sisters, Skipper, Stacy, and Chelsea, couldn't wait to see their Aunt Millie in New York City. The girls packed excitedly for their trip. It was going to be a perfect Christmas. Stacy dreamed of skating at the Rockefeller Center ice rink. Barbie had front row tickets to the hottest show on Broadway. Chelsea happily thought about the sea lions she would see at the Central Park Zoo. And Skipper planned to stream video of her friend Zoe's band singing Skipper's new song at their gig in New York City. But shortly after takeoff, a winter blizzard forced the girls' plane to land in Minnesota. Luckily, they found a room at the Tannenbaum Inn. Christy, the innkeeper, showed them around. The lobby was filled with colorful decorations and beautifully wrapped presents. "Wow, you really get into Christmas here," said Barbie. That night, Barbie gazed out at all the snow and wondered if she and her sisters would be able to get to New York City for Christmas. She looked into the night sky and made a wish on the brightest star she could find. "I wish that my sisters and I will have a perfect Christmas," Barbie whispered. Just then, Barbie heard someone singing down the hall. She followed the beautiful sound and discovered that the voice was Skipper's. Barbie told Skipper that she should record her song, but Skipper wanted to come up with her own ideas. Barbie understood how Skipper felt. "If you don't want my help, I won't help. I promise." The next morning, the girls awoke to more snow and bad news. Their flight to New York City had been cancelled. It looked like Christmas wouldn't be perfect this year. Later that day, Skipper discovered 4 guys rocking out in a garage. They were also musicians, and they sounded a lot like Zoe's band. Skipper wanted to organize a Christmas Eve concert with the band, but she didn't know how to go about it. Barbie was about to say something, then remembered to let Skipper do things on her own. Skipper looked at Barbie and said sheepishly, "You want to give me advice, don't you?" Barbie smiled and shared her thoughts. "Podcast is banned tonight in a show at the inn, and you can be the singer." Skipper agreed. She was so excited. It would take a lot of work, but she and Barbie could get it done together. Stacy and Chelsea wanted to help out with the show too. Chelsea wanted to do a dog act with Stacy, but Stacy wanted to do an act alone. As the 2 girls argued, Stacy told Chelsea, "You're in everybody's way." "I am not. I'll prove it to you," Chelsea shouted. She stormed off. Meanwhile, the show was going to start in 2 hours and nothing was ready at the inn. Skipper was in charge, but she was busy rehearsing. No one knew where to set up the stage, what color curtains to hang, or where to put up the posters, and worst of all, Chelsea was missing. Barbie and Stacy got Skipper from rehearsal and went to search for their little sister. After looking everywhere, the sisters finally found Chelsea outside a barn. "Chelsea, we were so worried about you," said Barbie. "I thought you'd be happier if I left you alone," Chelsea told Stacy. "Even when I hate having you around," said Stacy, "I love having you around." The sisters hugged each other tight. Just then, the girls noticed lights inside the barn. They discovered a wonderful surprise. The barn was filled with Christmas trees and a glittering stage. It was the perfect place to hold Skipper's concert. With help from her sisters, Skipper put on a fabulous show. "Thanks so much for coming," Skipper said to the crowd. "So far, this Christmas hasn't been what my sisters and I expected, but it has turned out to be amazing. Here's my new song." Skipper started to sing. Then her sisters joined in. Skipper, Barbie, Stacy, and Chelsea sang. It's the perfect Christmas when I'm with you. When the song was over, the audience burst into applause. Barbie, Skipper, Stacy, and Chelsea didn't mind that they never made it to New York City. The magical time they had spent with each other had really made this a perfect Christmas. Thank you. Keep reading. Ignite your imagination, and Merry Christmas.